Welcome guys to this new episode of Germany How It Is. Today I'm talking with you about immigration, the immigration to Germany after the Second World War. If you are interested in how to get a visa and what kinds of visa Germany offers, please watch out my Germany How It Is visa videos. Also, if you're more into the general situation of work and jobs in Germany, please watch out my work and jobs video. There are some things that overlap with the work and jobs video, but I'm starting with the immigration about Germany after into Germany after the Second World War. A lot of people will not like what I'm telling you here. They maybe will call me a racist, a fascist, and a Nazi and stuff like that, because they cannot handle the truth. Every number I count and everything I say, I put the sources in the description. You can look for them and see and prove the numbers and stuff like that. So some people in Germany, some anti-German people have their own kind of reality, and they only accept their own point of view and attack everyone who sees something different. And those people, they are tweet in Germany. But I'm telling you the situation about immigration from 1955 when it started till today. What is it all about? The immigration after Germany lost the Second World War. In Germany, Germans built up Germany again, and economy went well. And in 1955 there was the first contract that started with Italy, and later other countries followed. There were contracts with these countries that there can come some guest workers to Germany, which means those people from those countries allowed for a limited time to come to Germany to work and then go back to their home countries. And it started with Italy and other countries like Greece, Spain, Turkey, and so on followed. So, and I have some numbers here. In 1960 there lived about 1,500 Turkish people in Germany. Today, or the latest number I have from 2011, is 3 million people with Turkish background. So you see how the number rise? We have a total population of 80 million people in Germany. From those 80 million people, 8.2% are foreigners or non-German citizens. This is about 7 million people. And the rest of the citizens, German citizens, 20% of them, or 60 million of them, have a non-German background. They have a migration background which is not original German. And if you add the foreigners and the people with the migration background, you have about 33 million people. And then out of 80 million people, there are only 75 million Germans are left. So, just you have the numbers. And what was it all about? Why the immigration to Germany after the World War? The first lie, a lot of people tell that the Turkish people or some other guest workers built up Germany. That is a lie, that's not true. I mean, the first Turkish people came in 1961. This is more than 15 years, it's 16 years ago, after the Second World War. We're Germans not as stupid that we cannot build up our own country in 16 years. So, that's a bullshit lie. It's not against Turkish people, but this is some anti-German left-wing propaganda. And also the other foreign guest workers did not build up Germany. They came to Germany when economy went well and the companies needed more workers. And that's the point of all of it. German companies needed workforce and said, were not interested in raising the wages or do some into automation or stuff like that. They're just more interested into a cheap workforce. And that is also the economy minister of Germany in those times, Ludwig Erhard, was into. He said he was all about to have a cheap workforce. And that's all the immigration about till today, is that you immigrants are a cheap workforce compared to Germans. So if you look at the numbers, also the wages did not rise really. They rise by time, but inflation cut off all the raises of the wages. So even today, every immigrant that comes here to Germany from 1955 till today is here to put down the wages. When I started at university, and I'm into engineering, and this is something you hear a lot in Germany, it's the lack of experienced workers, or in Germany we call it Fachkräftemangel. This means companies complain that they lack those experienced workers. And when I started at university, they tell me, you're a lucky one. You go into engineering, and when you finish with your university, the crisis is over. And then you can put out the best jobs and you earn a lot of money. And I tell you something, that was a lie, that's bullshit. It was always a lie. Because it's capitalism. And what is capitalism about? It's about offer and demand. And if companies have a demand for some kind of work specialist, maybe doctors, lawyers, engineers, IT specialists, whatever, if they have the demand, what's the logical next step? The wages rise. Look at the wages in Germany. Did they rise? No, they did not. They always import workforce till 1955 when it started, and it was all about this, to put the wages down. So for people from other countries like East Europe, Southeast Asia, India, whatever, compared to them, Germany has a very high standard of living in general. And for a lot of those people, it's attractive to go to Germany. We are a safe country, we have a good infrastructure, and we have good work conditions. And for those people, it's very attractive to come here. And the German companies and German politicians know that. And for them, it's cheaper to bring those workforce to Germany than to rise up the wages or to do some investment. That's the next thing. Look about what companies invest in Germany. They invest almost zero. Look about what the politicians invest into infrastructure, into education, into the society. Almost nothing. There's no money for streets. You think Germany is famous for the Autobahn? You never drive on one of those. There are shitty roads like everywhere. No money for the roads. No money for train roads. No money for elementary schools, no money for primary schools, no money for kindergarten, no money for university. And also companies don't want to invest money, and they want always to have the cheap workforce. And if you say, maybe think Germany doing well, the economic does well. Yeah, it does well compared to other countries in Europe. So when you have a country lower, then it doesn't need much to be better. But this means in total, this situation is also shit. And that's the situation in Germany. And the wages did not rise. And then they say, I'm applying for jobs. And a lot of friends of mine that finished university with a very good degree, they're looking for jobs, and the companies say, we don't need you, you have no work experience, and the wages rise. No, and what you want to earn on money, it's a lot too much, it's too big money you want. And we have some other people who do the same stuff of work cheaper, and that's the real situation. And if you look about the emigration, which means the Germans, they leave Germany to work in other countries like Scandinavia, America, Canada, Australia, Switzerland, a lot of well qualified German people leave Germany because of the bad working conditions here. And you have to see, this is capitalism. For some people who has a lower standard of living in their home countries than Germany, it's very attractive to come here to Germany and even work for a low wage. For a German who's used to this standard, he sees how shitty the situation is, and he leaves Germany. And that's capitalism. The people have to move around to find job because in their own country the situation is shit for them. And capitalism makes the situation shit. And also you have the number that only about 10 to 15% of the inhabitants of every country own about 90 to 80% of all the stuff in the country. And all the rest of us people, all the ordinary people like you and me, we don't have anything. We always struggle to survive, to pay our taxes, to pay our rent, to pay our bill. And the money is never enough, and the fucking crisis never ends. Immobile crisis, euro crisis, financial crisis. A whole generation grow up in a crisis after crisis. In some European countries, over 50% of the people under the age of 25 have no jobs. And does the government or the companies do anything against it? No. They pump on money and money to the banks, to the Wall Street mobsters and stuff like that. But no money for the people, no money for infrastructure, education, and make better standard of living. And that's the whole thing behind emigration here. It's to put down the wages. We also have, and then we also have a bad immigration. We have a lot of the former immigrations that came to Germany between the 1950s and 1970. In 1973 they stopped those contracts with the other countries. But then the problem started. Those people lived a long time here and don't want to go back. No offense, it's like it is. But and then they want to bring into their families, and the government allowed it. And then a lot of family members came who are not qualified, who don't find jobs, because in the 70s also oil crisis and crisis. You hear something about, like it started in the 1970s till today, it's always a fucking crisis. It's the collapse of a capitalist system. I'm not blaming capitalism. Capitalism did some really good benefits for the whole world, and I'm into capitalism. But we have a lot of problems, and the situation or the living conditions for the people did not rise, and that's a problem in my opinion. And also have, and we cannot in Germany, it's not allowed for us to blame bad immigration and to do something against bad immigration. Because if we say something, if we name it, then we are racist and we are Nazis and stuff like that. But there come some people to Germany who live only for social welfare system, who do criminal stuff. Not all of them, not all of the immigrants, but a lot of them. But it's not allowed for us to do something against it. And why? Because that the people can bitch and fight around. That the Germans here in Germany see when immigrants come and do criminal stuff and don't want to fit in, then they have something to hate, and then say, I can blame the immigrants, I can blame the bad immigrants. And they don't see the bankster, and they don't see the Wall Street guys, and they don't see the politicians that profit, that make their profit from this system. When the normal, the ordinary people like we bitching around about making a living, and so they make their profit, and that's all about the situation. And that's what's it. It was all about cheap workforce, because it's offer and demand. And if there is a demand for real work experience, the wages would rise, and this is not the fact. So it's a shitty system that want us all to fight each other and not to fight the politicians and the bank system and the Wall Street guys that make millions and billions of dollars or euros into seconds with the fucking stock exchange stuff and food speculation when other people suffering and don't know how to pay their bills. So stop fighting, bitching around, blame the bad immigration, do something against this, it's fine, but also see the good immigration, the good workers that come to Germany or to other countries and make a better standard of living. But I always ask the question, why they are coming? Why can their own countries not be good? Why cannot Germany good for Germans? Why cannot an East European country or East Asian country good for those citizens? Why do people have to immigrate and emigrate all over the world, losing the roots, losing their family connections and stuff like that, and always into consume and buy and being a cheap workforce? Think about it. That's all about from me. Till the next time. Thank you guys. Bye.